Hey guys, welcome back to another video on the channel. Just quickly, just excuse my voice. Kind of have a bit of a cold. Well, it's not really cold. It's actually COVID. I finally actually got it. It took me a few years. But yeah, I haven't mentioned this on my other channel, my AFL channel. But yeah, I've had COVID. This is my third day now, I believe, in COVID. Yeah, so I've pretty much been doing nothing for like this whole week, missing school, but anyway, managed to be able to get these reviews out. Very, very lucky to be able to get these done for you guys this week. So yeah, I'm going to put a lot of effort into these ones, but anyway, this review will be on Don't Go Near the Fortress of Fear, which is Season 3, episode, I believe it's like episode 14 or something like that, from the Scooby-Doo show Season 3. This episode came out of a very, very, very good series. But yeah, let's get straight into the review.
Hurry up, Pedro. It's almost time for the ghost of General Juan Carlos to appear.
I think we better go home, Diego.
Don't be scared, amigo. If the ghost appears, I will protect you. Ay, ay, ay! Yay! It's the ghost!
Nice, weird and creepy scene to open up the mystery. We see two kids walking up to this fortress, and they run into this ghost of Juan Carlos, and he lights a cannon and starts getting ready to fire it, and then we see the gang finally port in Puerto Rico. They're basically, or Costa Rica, sorry, my mistake, it's what you get when you watch the Snake Demon pretty much right before you watch this episode anyways. Yeah, they dock in Costa Rica. Shaggy's eating a pineapple. The gang over here that there's been a massive jewel robbery from the museum, and they go up to a officer and ask if they can do anything about it. But he says, "Oh, we've got it under control, and it's best you leave it to the professionals." So the gang, actually following the orders of the police, actually do leave the mystery alone. And they're going to go off and have a bit of an explore of Costa Rica. Scooby snatches Shaggy's pineapple, runs into this creepy old guy hiding behind a couple Costa Rica shipped boxes that came on the same boat as the gang, I believe. And yeah, he gets kind of scared, and then they go up to the fortress, the gang, for the first time, because they hear a loud boom from the fortress, and they go up to investigate. Shaggy and Scooby decide to stay and wait. The rest of the gang go in, and then Shaggy and Scooby end up going in as well. But they run into the ghost immediately, and the ghost chases them around, and yeah, they finally run back out of the fortress, and then Velma, Daphne, and Fred come out saying they found nothing. Scooby's just about to tell the gang about their encounter with the ghost, but Shaggy decides to, keep it a secret, so they don't have to solve a mystery and actually get to keep their vacation to Costa Rica. The next day, the gang are on a boat, and it happens to be Captain Eddie's boat, and he tells them about the ghost haunting the fortress, and they're very, very surprised to hear that, seeming Shaggy and Scooby normally run into the ghost, so they're very, very shocked that there is actually no ghost. But Shaggy and Scooby, in the meantime, they get caught up in a bit of I think it's like a 5-minute tangle here with like sea animals, and then they find a parachute, a pink parachute, underneath the water, and then the rest of the gang is saying, "Oh, we're going back to the fortress." Shaggy and Scooby get shocked by this, and they accidentally tell them about the ghost, And Velma, Daphne, and Fred are very, very pissed off that they didn't tell them about the ghost. Anyway, they go back up. Shaggy and Scooby decide to wait again. But Fred says, it's like ghosts won't strike in the same place twice. It's like lightning. Then immediately lightning strikes in the same place twice next to the van. And Shaggy and Scooby get very, very jumped by this. Anyway, they go in and they find the ghost after a little while. He traps them over the edge. He looses the brick that Shaggy and Scooby are holding onto. Then Fred comes and chases off the ghost just in time and pulls Shaggy and Scooby back up to safety. Then Velma, Daphne, and Fred decide to leave Shaggy and Scooby at the fortress yet again, and they go off to the Hall of Records to do some investigating. Now, at the Hall of Records, they discover that there's a secret tunnel leading from the museum to the fortress. So they start to have a hunch that those missing jewels that were stolen from the museum might have something to do with this ghost. And the museum owner, or the Hall of Records owner, says it's late and he kicks them out. Then the rest of the gang goes searching around the museum trying to find the tunnel. And then Daphne trips over and accidentally moves a phone booth that's out of order. And then they find a secret tunnel. And then that creepy guy that Shaggy and Scooby saw at the start in the white uniform sneaks down after them and follows them. But Shaggy and Scooby are still at the El Morro fortress, and they get tangled up with a ghost yet again, and they fall down a little secret passage, and then Daphne, Velma, and Fred's tunnel leading from the museum, or just outside the museum to the fortress, actually ends up meeting with Shaggy and Scooby, and the ghost locks them in from both ways, and they're trapped. Then they find all the missing jewels. Well, not all of it, part of it is the big question. Shaggy and Scooby find more parachutes. They also find hollow cannonballs. Fred's very, very suspicious of this. Excuse me. Then finally, they manage to break out because of a secret passage. They go chasing after the ghost. But they decide to set a trap for him with the parachute. They hang it over the doorway. And they put like a tripcord there as well. And then Shaggy and Scooby run off because they see someone's shadow. The shadow turns out to be the creepy white dude following them. And he reveals himself as a detective for the police. And he's been studying the case for quite some time on Julian Juan Carlos. And yeah, he shows the gang that he's part of the police agency. And he chases after the ghost as soon as he runs past. Velma, Fred, and Daphne also follow him. Shaggy and Scooby are just running around the fortress. They actually run into the ghost. The ghost runs down a passageway and traps the rest of the gang. Shaggy and Scooby then run around the corner, and Scooby and the ghost get tangled up in the parachute trap, and Shaggy frees the rest of the gang and the inspector. And then Fred and the inspector quickly hold Juan Carlos still, and he is trapped. Unmasking the ghost, it turns out to be Captain Eddie, and this plan of his is quite ingenious. He stole the museum treasures from the secret passage leading from El Morro, the fortress, all the way to the museum. He snuck it in, and then, with the hollow cannonballs, he put a bit of the treasure in, put a parachute around it, put it into the cannon, the boiling hot cannon that Shaggy and Scooby found, and would shoot it into his fishing nets out on sea. That's what the loud booms were. The gang just thought they were thunder originally, but then they figured out that that was what the cannon was used for, and Captain Eddie is taken into custody, and he would have had all the treasure on his boat if he had a few more nights. But he managed to move part of it. Well, probably about half of it, really.
Captain Eddie!
We located the rest of the treasures on his boat, Inspector.
Meddling young fools. They've gotten away with a king's ransom.
Like I still don't understand how he got all those things past the police.
Through the tunnel that leads here from the museum, Shaggy.
And then he didn't get it past the police, Shag. He got it over them with the cannon.
Over them?
Captain Eddie put the stuff inside these canisters with the parachutes attached.
Then he aimed the old cannon toward his boat anchored out at sea and shot the treasure into his fishing nets. He used the old legend of the ghost to scare people away until he had all the stuff on his boat.
A couple of more nights and I would have had it all. Take him away.
But yeah, then the gang go off on their next adventure as we see them on the beach enjoying their time in Costa Rica. So yeah, I decided to keep my ranking a secret until the final minute of the video. I give this episode a pretty solid 8.5 out of 10. And look, I really enjoyed the plots. It was very entertaining. So was the mystery. And then again, all the mysteries are pretty entertaining. From the Scooby-Doo show, this one was very unique, I guess. And that's why I enjoyed it quite a bit. But yeah, I think they did quite well with this episode. But yeah, I still give it a 8.5 out of 10. It's a pretty good score for an episode that happens to fall in my bottom 10 from the Scooby-Doo show, which is quite sad because this episode is not rubbish. It's one of the more creative episodes out there. Just not my favourite travelling episode from the Scooby-Doo show. I don't feel like Costa Rica was used amazingly because you only get like the final scene where they're on the beach of Costa Rica, when they're docked, you know, at the Hall of Records. They're also outside the museum, and of course the El Morro Fortress, of course. The ghost design was just shocking, but he actually did quite a lot for an episode that, for half of it, the gang were just trying to, Shaggy and Scooby were just trying to keep the ghost a secret. I like they're changing up the formula, and I think this one would have worked. The only problem is, it feels like the mystery's a little bit too short, and that's really where I have a problem with this episode. It feels just a little bit too short for a Scooby-Doo show episode, which is a bit unfortunate, but that's okay. The ghost design wasn't good, but he did quite a lot, so I'll give it a pass. I really especially liked him when he was shooting the cannon at the start. You know, he was holding a big stick of fire. That was really cool. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the review. Comment down some more episodes that I can review. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.